Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Online Plans. Today we are finally going to be wrapping up January and we'll talk a little bit about February. We're looking at monthly favorites and kind of monthly flops. So I'm going to be talking about all the things stationery, anything and everything that has really worked really well the first month into the year, and some of the things that didn't work out so well and kind of why. And we will have, for certain things, we will have a dedicated video coming out for that, so keep an eye out for it. But I just thought that, you know, now that I'm doing a lot better, I have been sick for about close to 2 weeks now, so I'm able to actually speak now without going into a cough attack. So I thought that why don't we just kind of sit down, recap January, chat a little bit about stationery. So if that sounds good, then why don't we just get started? And of course, if this is the first time that we're meeting, well, hello, how are you? I hope you're doing well. My name is Meshi and I'm the person here behind Online Plans. And we talk about anything and everything, minimalist planning, journaling, stationery, with a bit of intention. The idea is really to find a way to utilize the tools that we have so that it improves our lives rather than just accumulating them for the sake of accumulating it. So if that's your jam as well, then consider subscribing if you have not yet already. In a moment here, I'm going to be bringing you overhead and then we can kind of go over some of the things that really worked well for me for the month of January. And some of it are like planner related, some of it is just stationery items, some of it is just really stuff that I really love. So why don't we, so the first thing that I wanted to talk about a little bit is actually the traveler's notebook. This will come as absolutely no surprise to anyone that essentially I ended up basically switching almost my entire system out to the traveler's notebook. I've been primarily using, actually I've been mainly using the passport size. Yes, in case you're wondering, it was in my backpack because I did not realize it. That's how popular this is. So I have been using the passport size. As you can tell, this guy basically comes with me whenever I go to work. It's a place where I kind of capture ideas, updates, all the things. And then of course I add in some of the things that are kind of going on at work. I do my weekly planning here in a really like quick and minimalistic way. And then just recently, I actually ended up adding in a field notes notebook just because I wanted to have like an extra place, almost like as a commonplace book that is not daily journaling. So I'm going to be kind of testing out which one I prefer, if I prefer the little Muji insert or if I prefer the field notes. I like both for different reasons, but this has been my sort of on-the-go system on a regular basis. And then for my main planning, I was hoping that this would work out. And as of right now, it seems like it's going to be a winner. The regular sized traveler's notebook it's been like a daily thing that I would just constantly check in with. Mainly I'm using the weekly quite a bit. I will go into a more detailed breakdown of how things are going, what's the update on the traveler's notebook, but I'll just show you a couple of pages of what I'm actually really liking about it. I'm loving this space. I'm loving the space arrangement. I'm loving that it's more narrow. And I like the fact that I don't have to write so small, even though I like writing small, but not in my main planner. In my main planner, I want to use like a normal size font where I can kind of check in. I can actually read my own writing. I can see like what I need to update. And it's almost like, it's just a place where it kind of captures everything. And that's without me going too much into detail about like the ins and outs of the traveler's notebook. I also have just a dot grid insert, and I will show you actually some of the stuff that I've been really loving for the month here. I kind of dabble into daily journaling here, or like daily like bullet journaling type of thing where I just kind of do a quick little check-in. I think I'm going to like leave that behind because I don't think that's going to really work for me. And then I also have a monthly here, and the monthly is, again, like I find that the boxes are large enough where I can kind of capture what I need to, which is really cool. And so far so good. So far, I feel like the inserts are working the way that they should. I might make some tweaks, but again, we will talk a little bit more in detail about the traveler's notebook in a separate video, just because I feel like you guys want to know more about this. So we will do that separately. Now, the other thing that has been working really well, and unfortunately, most of it fell out of my planner. If you think back, what I kind of mentioned for the month of January, my like theme or like the thing that I really wanted to focus on is actually to using up my stash. So I started collecting quite a bit of my stickers. If I find more, like I thought that I had started collecting them in here, but then it's not here. So I don't know where else I might have put it, unless I put it into my rings. Yes, I have quite a few here. Okay, so here's like at least a small haul of like what I used up. So this is from Color Cafe. We have the Kubo and Lucy. This one was from Johan's Studio. I also used up this one from Eric's Small Things, of course, the bowl cut. And there was a lot more actually, but eventually it was just kind of everywhere and I really wanted to just be able to throw it out. But I will say, when it comes to checking in and how is like using up your stash momentum going, it was going well. I really, really, really missed adding new things to my planner though. So as much as I appreciate the sentiment of using up your own stash, and like I was not short of stickers, but I really felt like some of the seasonal stuff that I really wanted to use for the month of January and for the month of February, I did not really have that, or it just felt really redundant. So like I do think that there's something to be said about using your stash. I think that it's okay to do that once in a while, but I definitely prefer to kind of switch up my stash regularly, and it's such an inexpensive way to kind of spruce up, you know, your designs and like your collages. That being said, if you have a lot of stickers, start using them up because you will feel so much more accomplished. Like I definitely found that by the end of the month, it felt like I created like this momentum where I felt like I made like a lot of progress just by like using up what I already had. So it's kind of like you have to kind of feel it out for yourself to see like really what works for you. I would recommend it, but I also, by the end, I was really ready to buy some new stickers. So there's that. Now, as far as, okay, so field notes. Let's talk a little bit about field notes. I do have like a racket one because I actually did have an accident this past Saturday where we went somewhere and like water basically went all around, like it just kind of spilled everywhere in my bag. And so one of my notebooks kind of got ruined, unfortunately. So this, I will still use this, but I know it looks kind of wrecked. So field notes overall is going well. It's definitely, I'm definitely reaching for it. If it's in my bag, I definitely find myself, a lot of the times, like I find myself reaching for it actually when I'm at work and I really need to quickly write down new ideas. It's not something that I would do like a daily check-in with, or I would do like daily journaling or use it. I would use it more like as a reference point where I just need something quick that I would like to write down. Field notes, notebooks are excellent for that. Hence why I even added it into my traveler's notebook system, because I find that it's just like a very user-friendly notebook to just kind of reach for. And because I can kind of carry it on its own or I can add it into a system, it just makes it really appealing. Now, having said all of that, one of my flops that I have for field notes, and it's just been frustrating me, is this ledger book. I've been trying to use this as like a sinking note, like as a sinking fund, like ledger, like literally for keeping track of like what's happening. I find that these small little spaces, let me just zoom in so you can see. So, okay, hair and makeup would be a good example. So I can write the category up here, I can color code it, all of that is fine. But then I'm finding that these two things are too small for me to add the date. So there is that. And then this middle section is more like a descriptor. And then this small space here is too small for me to write the numbers. Like I write a little bit larger. I did try to stay within that, but it wasn't really working well. In comparison though, I will show you the sheets that came with. in comparison to this, I have these things. So this actually came in that little binder that I have that has like the cash stuffing envelopes. And if you're looking at it, you don't have two little like space arrangement there. You have one. Then you have a description, then you have an adequate amount of space for amount, and then you have an adequate amount of space for balance. I find this to be a lot more user-friendly than the arrangement here. And just for quick reference sake, here's a blank version. It's a really similar arrangement, but like I find this to be, this is too small, this is too thin. Like I guess like you can like put like a check mark here or something. I don't know, this whole first column is redundant to me. Then this is too long, like I would kind of make this shorter and then I would make this line come out a little bit further. That's just me. That's just me being really, really picky, but when you have something that's less expensive than a small little notebook, I would really, really like to use this. Obviously, I will use it up because I have it and I started using it already, but it's just definitely not... It's not my favorite in space arrangements for what I would like to use it for. And I mean, they do recommend, like, one of the uses that they recommend is money out or like a lemonade stand for sales, or, you know what I mean? Like they do recommend like keeping track of like financial transactions. But that's it on the field notes. So I'm trying to, right now, we're gonna go and do a little test to see how it goes with this little guy. So we'll see how it goes. I do think it kind of sticks out just like a little bit. Let me zoom out. It's nothing crazy, but it's definitely something to kind of pay attention to, that it just visually it does stick out just a tiny bit. It should be okay though. So that's it on Traveler's Notebook. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about new inks. I will show you guys a close-up of the two of the new inks that I recently purchased. I had a little bit of a haul where I was buying from a Taiwanese company. And so I bought two Ink Institute inks. Those have been working out really, really well for me. And each of them look and like feel slightly different, which is really cool. But I will show you what we have been swatching for the month of basically January and February. So these are some of the colors that we're kind of looking at. We have Yamabudo, which has been like by far one of my favorites. We also had Ferris Wheel Steeped Umber, which has been really, really lovely. And then here is the two new Ink Institute's colors. One of them is Cat at Midnight. The other one is Lucky Bunny. Lucky Bunny in here, it kind of looks more like a gray more than anything else, if you look closely. Cat at Midnight is this really dark, rich, beautiful black. And currently I have it in my little Mizutama collaboration sailor pen. And it's so pretty, honestly. It's so pretty. Right? With Lucky Bunny is currently in my Pilot Prera, and again, it's just, I feel like Pilot Prera is one of those pens where if you really wanted to test out the richness of any ink, this would be a really good pen to kind of try it out with. And honestly, I got to a point with colors where eventually I just want to have like some really good staples just so that I can kind of, it becomes a lot easier to kind of fall back on it. So that's exactly what we did. And so far I'm loving it. Now, as far as decor is concerned, one big thing that I kind of changed my mind on moving into 2025 was actually the Hobonichi Hun. I had it, so I still have the planner, but I never really used it. I don't know. I just felt like it just felt so big and overwhelming. It felt overwhelmingly big, and then I just didn't want to deal with it. So I ended up investing in Take a Note, and with Take a Note, they had a sale going on, so I not only bought the planner, but I also got the actual taupey color cover as well. And thank God I did, because I already got ink on it. So there's that. But it's so far, I'm still like in a process. If you haven't seen the unboxing, I will just put it in the cards for you so you can check it out. I haven't really used too many of like the trackers and the perpetual like pre-planning calendars. I think I will be updating it as time goes on. In the last 2 weeks, I will say I haven't really reached for too many of my planners and journals just yet, because honestly, it just felt, between like having fevers and things like that, it just felt like it was just so much work to even update one planner, let alone any of my journals. So, but here we are. Here is the decorated. There was not much decoration from January, and then moving into February, there's a little bit more decor going on for the monthly. And then for the weekly, I'm in a process of figuring out the layout and how I really want to use it. I do like this spread, but I find that like I'm trying to like navigate like the larger gaps of space so that there aren't like these huge gaps of space that are open. And then I still have to update this week because I haven't had a chance to just yet, but maybe we will do that together on one of my videos, maybe. But so far, I really love the paper quality. I really love like the feedback that the paper quality gives, actually. It kind of reminds me of Midori. I feel like it's, and honestly, like as you guys know, I really love this B6 size planners. I do have a preference for this over the A5. I don't feel like I'm really shortchanged with space or anything. And right now I'm just not in a mental space where I'm really craving like these huge planners. Like that's not really what I want my system to be right now. So it's okay if you change your mind, and there's nothing, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. So right now that is going really well. Now, as far as a few accessories that I wanted to mention, because they're honorable mentions, and hopefully you can see it. First up, because I could not find my clip from Traveler's Notebook for the life of me, I ended up basically buying a new one, and thank God for that. I also bought this clip from Penco, which is going really well. They also had like these small little clippies, so I thought that this would be kind of fun to just have as one of the accessories, because they were really inexpensive and they're really cute. Always a staple is this cloth and paper tweezer. I use this pretty regularly, actually. And then for decor, now mind you, like for decor, I am kind of struggling because I had 2 of these rolls, and these are from Mindwave. These are clear PET tapes. And if you look, super cute, super cute. So you kind of like cut these pieces out and then you're good to go. I had another one for like, it's the same company, like really similar decoration. I'm pretty sure my dog took it and chewed it up. She also got a hold of this one, unfortunately. I will still make this happen where I can use this because some of it is salvageable. So this has been really nice, but you know, this is kind of what ends up happening with my washi tapes. And if you have dogs, you already know pets can be sometimes cruel with our things, so it's not very fun. This is another washi tape that I just recently purchased from Paper Plus Cloth, and I love like these really see-through, subtle, muted colors that are like, especially like moving into spring, I think that this is going to be really lovely. And I bought more Pilot friction pens. This one is in a 0.38. And it's just like, it's an oldie but a goodie. It's just one of those really staple pens that are just really great, and they do exactly what they kind of promised you that they will do. This is something recent that I picked up, and I have been really enjoying this a little bit more than like the dot markers. These are the Join Dots by Midori, and each one comes with basically 3 different colors. So I bought 2 different sets. I thought that each of them look a little bit different. Here is a swatch, so you can take a look. But look how cute this is. So here's the green one, right? Like they just look different, and I think that that's kind of what I was after. I wanted my markers to just look slightly different than most of the highlighters that I already have. I especially love this moss green. It's like one of my favorites. And that's it on accessories. There's not a lot that was going on. Again, I spent quite a bit of time. Well, I spent the beginning of January being away, so I wasn't really reaching too much for my planner. And then after that, I got sick. So it has been a joyride. But for flops, my only flops are basically the field notes, which I kind of talked about. The Hobonichi Han, which I mentioned, that's why you're not really seeing any updates about the Hobonichi Han. And last but not least, this is kind of a surprise, but I wasn't really reaching for my Hibino. I think partially because the grid is so small that I wasn't feeling like I really wanted to update it. So there has been quite a few just blank pages, or I would decorate it and then I would have like nothing to write. So a lot of it, again, just had to do with, I just did not have the energy to write this much each day. And when I did have energy, then I felt like the grid was way too small and it was way too straining for me to kind of sit here. So there's definitely something to keep in mind, that when you have a planner or a journal system, sometimes it's not so much the layout that's not working, but sometimes you need it to be portable so that you can write in other areas, or it becomes more, it can kind of move with you, so to say. So I'm not finding the Hibino as portable as I wish it was, you know, in comparison to, let's say, the Traveler's Notebook, you know, where I find this to be very portable and very easy for me to update. And I noticed that like I end up reaching for that a little bit more, even though the size is really comparable. But I don't feel the pressure to stay in those tiny little grids. Sometimes I'm in a mood for that, but right now, that was just not something that I felt so called to do. So this is basically all I wanted to share with you. I would love to hear your thoughts. What is something that was really working out for you really well for the month of January? And did you set any challenges for the month for yourself, like a no spend, or like using up what you have? Like, did you start the year off with some sort of a strong intention? And if so, what was it? I know that's too many questions, but either share one of your favorite things that you loved for the month of January, or if you had like a strong intention that you started your year out with, I would love to hear it. And obviously, if you enjoy videos like this, then make sure that you subscribe, make sure that you hit the notification bell. That way you get notified every time I release a new video. And this is all I have for you. I hope that you have enjoyed yourself, and I cannot wait to see you guys in my next video. Bye.